Welcome to Fables and Fairies. I'm the fairy. These are my fables. They're cool. So due to, just want to give everyone the sort of heads up before we get rolling, due to technical limitations, scheduling conflicts, we are speaking to you from the past, or you're in the future, whatever the case may be. Anyway, we haven't exactly figured out the trans timeline chat function, so we will not be seeing your chat. But us in the future will see chat because we will be there, typing away, saying hello. So say hi, keep a running commentary. We will love to hear from you. And speaking of chat, just want to give the shout out there that this is a loving queer community space. So we will absolutely have zero tolerance of any like racism, homophobia, just discrimination, transphobia that can yeet itself right out the door. So you have been warned. And though we do love you, our live viewers, of course, if you can't stick around for the show, it will be immediately available on VOD here on Twitch. And I will also be posting onto YouTube once we are finished. I haven't done that before, so I don't have a firm timeline yet, but the goal is Friday, and we'll see how that goes forward. So that is that. And speaking of goals, we do have lots of really exciting plans for the stream. But to accomplish many of those plans, we need your help. That's right, you and even you, Mildred. So if you're enjoying the game, please show your support by following us here on Twitch. In order to do a lot of things that we want, we're hoping to get to affiliate status, and that's 50 followers. So if you want to see cool things and see this keep going, show your support with that follow button. Thank you very much. And as an added bonus, you get to see me and sometimes Anthony play other games. So it's a win-win all around. But I guess that means that I'm supposed to talk about myself now. So hi, hello, welcome. I'm Brendan. Some folks also know me as Phelan. And I'm the god of the fairies, or DM, whichever way you want to go with that. So I am a professional game master. I've been running D&D and other games for over 10 years at this point, which is kind of crazy when I stop and actually think about that. You can find me on Linktree. That is Brendan Dice, all one word, BrendenDice. Of course, we'll have links in chat or the description or wherever you're watching this. Look somewhere around this space for social links. And outside of the D&D sphere, I'm kind of a new variety streamer here on Twitch. I do Cultist Simulator, at least right now, Cultist Simulator on Friday nights. And on, that's Friday nights. And on Sunday nights, I play multiplayer Civ with Anthony over here. And it's pretty great. So come check us out for that. And now it's
mostly drunk and me complaining about dying a lot.
I mean, it's a valid way and fun way to pass the time. But speaking of my players, it's time to hear about them. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to set my good example here. I go by he, him pronouns, so we want to put that out there. And I guess I'll turn it over to, I suppose, Anthony, since we were just talking about you.
The loudmouth always gets to talk first. That's how it goes. Hi, I'm Anthony. I eat a lot of popcorn during streaming sessions, so you're going to hear a lot of crunching while I murder things. I've been playing. I have a lot of gray hair, so I'm playing D&D since 2nd edition, which is a long time ago, and I don't really want to think about what year that was. I play everything else there is to play, which is why sometimes you'll see weird mostly paused Fallout on my giant TV in the background, because I play it over and over and over and over again. In real life, I'm a lawyer and a food writer, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Foodie Anthony, and that's probably all you need to know right now.
Cool. He, him pronouns, if I know correctly. All right, very good. Who have we got next?
I'll jump in. I am Rob, also sometimes known as Trigger. I've been playing D&D since about 2nd edition, but really only got into it in 4th edition. I've been playing with Brendan for several years now, and it's just been a good way to stay connected with him and this wonderful group of people.
A roller coaster.
What's that?
It's a roller coaster of emotions.
Of course. I when last we played, I think we defeated Strahd and then immediately suffered calamitous failure due to the betrayal of our party member.
It's always
Anyways,
always a good ending to Curse of Strahd.
Hopefully this one will have a bit of a happier ending for all involved.
Very good.
I go by he, him pronouns, and I cannot be found on social media.
Very good. Very mysterious.
I'll go. Hi, I'm Hannah. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm completely new to D&D, but I've played video games since I was a little kid, play lots of MMOs, definitely play a lot of Fallout as well. So I'm really excited to kind of just try out this whole new game system. So in real life, I'm a therapist and a researcher. Live in Chicago, love craft beer. You can find me on Instagram at Schmeeble. So, yeah.
Excellent. Look for links down in the wherever links may be found. All right. And how about Sean?
Hi, I'm Sean. Also from Chicago. He, him pronouns. I've been playing D&D for about 8 years now, but I've been into it since, I don't know, I was a little kid. So I'm glad I can finally start playing. You can find my social media links below. I don't know the names off the top of my head, to be honest. It's mostly artsy stuff on there as well. So check it out. I'm really bad at talking about myself.
Sean's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody on this stream is awesome. And last but certainly not least, how about RJ, who I'm sure chat is actually probably screaming at me by now that we can't see the fifth player. Yes, I am aware we had last-minute technical difficulties, so you cannot see RJ's charming face, but tune in the future. He will be here.
Yes, I am the disembodied voice of RJ. I am not particular about my pronouns in the least. I am in the desert wilds of Arizona, and we are having internet issues today. So I am struggling. I am 35. I work for a tech startup in account management and product management, and I have been playing D&D since I was 7. I'm a second generation D&D player, actually. I was raised to be a nerd. I did not have a choice. And I previously campaigned with Brendan, where my character became a dark semi-god on the Shadow Plane, starting secret societies to ensure that he be killed, least he ever fully turned to the dark side. So that was my last character arc.
We can only go up or down from here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Sideways. It all applies. All right. Well, there we go. There you have our wonderful cast of my amazing players that we are excited to play with. And speaking of playing, as you've probably gathered from the name of the stream, we're playing Candlekeep Mysteries, folks, which is the latest hardcover from Wizards of the Coast. It's going to be my own homebrew spin on things. You may not recognize everything strictly from the book, because, what fun is a book unless you're taking some artistic liberties with it. But I definitely recommend checking it out, as well as all of the amazing writers who made it possible, since it is a beautiful anthology of a diverse cast. And today we are actually beginning with the chapter titled Mazefroth's Mighty Digressions, which is written by Allison Huang, with direction from Hannah Rose and Christopher Perkins. So go check those folks out as well in particular, since that is where we are starting. So, we're in Candlekeep. We know a little bit about Candlekeep, vast repository of magical lore, and mundane lore for that matter. And when you deal with such a vast quantity of lore and magical ephemera, as Candlekeep does, there's bound to be some mishaps and some problems. The Avowed themselves are, of course, able to handle many such issues, but some matters require a more creative solution, or they may lead to issues outside the walls of Candlekeep. To that end, the Avowed have formed the Candlekeep Outsource Commission, COC for short. And it is made up of a mixture of Avowed who have a more adventurous bend to them, as well as, quote, outsiders who might owe something to the library or have some other reason to serve. At least, that's the idea. So far, there's only one team on the roster, and you're looking at them. So, each 10-day, they are given an assignment, sometimes two, to go investigate. And whenever they're not actively on an assignment, they engage in training and study, as well as assisting with minor disputes on premises. Now, our story opens in the dawn hours on the Sword Coast, as our camera pans across the crashing waves and the sheer cliffs to settle on the soaring alabaster towers of Candlekeep that glow in the amber sunlight. Gulls cry on the salty sea air as our gaze is drawn upwards to Exaltation, the mighty citadel that overlooks the sprawling library city and houses the studious Avowed. Already, scholars can be seen moving about behind the glass windows of the keep, and finally, our camera swoops in through one such opened stained glass window. The room within is dominated by a sturdy walnut table, large enough to seat 8 very comfortably. The walls are lined with an assortment of bookshelves and display cases, all tidily filled with serialized tomes, ancient tapestries, and assorted historic keepsakes, all safely preserved behind glass. Mounted on the wall directly behind the head of the table is a wooden seal that bears the Candlekeep symbol in the top half, with a quill and a magnifying glass equally dividing the bottom portion. Stylized scrolling around the perimeter reads Candlekeep Outsource Commission, and the whole piece looks freshly carved. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The weekly briefing starts at mornbright, or as in our world we would refer to 8 a.m. As of yet, the room is empty, with approximately 15 minutes until the bell tower chimes the hour. So who might be the first to arrive? Is anyone early?
I'm likely early.
Zokar has arrived.
Drunk, not because I'm actually an early bird.
Zokar has arrived, bringing with them a series of snacks for the meeting.
All right. So 15 minutes before the hour, the one of the room's 3 doors swings open, and who do we see walk in?
Snacks first, then cat.
Right.
We see Zokar. Zokar is a tall, lanky, sinewy Githyanki, covered in magically gleaming scale mail, with a large greatsword strapped to his back, and in his hands a tray of assorted extra planner goodies that he has cooked from his recipe collection, which he keeps. He takes his time to place them on the table, his yellow pockmarked skin catching the light as he places all of these strange and not all particularly visually all that appetizing goodies on the table. And he settles into one of the chairs with a clank, grabs something that looks like a tentacle skewering an eyeball, and pops it in his mouth.
Delightful. All right, so that happens first, and perhaps the door swings open again as Tally makes his arrival.
Yeah, Tally, because I'm a nocturnal kitty cat, never went to bed last night and is still a little bit drunk. Not like trash, not unprofessional, but a little bit loose. and sort of slinks his way into the room. And you see a tabaxi ranger with a blue skin and sort of orangish eyes, wearing what I hope is leather armor, but I don't actually remember. Yep, leather armor. uh, with a bow strung across his back, and a glass of ale in one hand, and the other hand is holding a little black kitten by the scruff of the neck. And sort of saunters into the room, and his eyes light up when he sees the tray of snacks and looks for the most, like, to traditional eyes, like, revolting seafoody object, and just like grabs it with a big purr and thanks his companion, and less sits and more drapes himself over a chair and gets ready for the meeting.
All right.
Aboleth calamari, fresh. One of the monks brought some back from an adventure.
He takes a little bit, pinches a little bit of the tip of the tentacle off and feeds it to his little black cat, who really likes the tips of the tentacles.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Does anyone else arrive before 8 o'clock? All right.
I arrive at precisely 8 o'clock.
All right, then we have another development. At about 5 minutes before the bell, another one of the room's 3 doors opens of its own accord, revealing a slender man with a braided neck-length beard of silver and long dreadlocks of the same hue that are very neatly connected into a remarkably perfect bun behind his head. His hazel eyes peer at you, peer around the room, I should say, through gold-rimmed half-moon spectacles, and the faint freckles in his faint wrinkles. Wow, I can't talk. The faint wrinkles in his dark skin that hint that he's just a bit past middle-aged. Teles Avoste, the great reader of occultism, doesn't seem to notice you at first. Instead, twisting a crystal orb in one hand in a manner that seems to defy gravity. It then springs from his hand with a whirring noise and begins attempting to siphon up non-existent dust from around the head of the table, as he's busying himself with papers. When he finally does notice you, Teles jumps a full foot in the air with a small yelp. By the endless, I didn't see you there. You scared me half to death. Good morning, Zokar. Tally. You're early.
If you're going to play with the weave in here, it's going to affect the flavor. At least eat something first.
Oh, well, I'm sure that a little bit of light cleaning never hurt anything, and you watch as he sort of flicks a finger and the orb sort of like starts to try to dust off his chair, and this bright sort of like purple light starts shining in various areas. You can never be too careful with germs, you know. But yes, I'll get that taken care of.
You should know that we're always early.
Well, yes, but I'm still settling into things. But you must be careful when not to startle folks. You know, cardiac arrest is a very, very serious concern these days.
I tend to find that paying attention to your surroundings is the best way to prevent cardiac arrest.
Well, that is an interesting hypothesis. I'll have to put that before the council. Perhaps we can start a study. And with that, he finally is satisfied that his chair and immediate area has been cleaned sufficiently, and he sort of pulls the chair out, sets some papers down, and gingerly reaches across the table and sort of pauses, not quite sure which one to take before he settles on like the only thing that looks normal, a bit of sort of like some pico.
Bread pudding.
Yeah. Oh, bread pudding. I like it. And then, takes it and is like trying to figure out how to eat it. And he just like as daintily as possible, just like tries to like slurp it out of the cup.
There was a spoon right there.
Good. All right. Well, then, precisely on the hour, the Candlekeep bell tolls twice. This is the second bell of the day, of the magically significant hours, as it were. And precisely on the dot, the entryway opens as another figure strides through.
Yes, the elderly or the aged figure of Barot Sun walks into the room. He appears to be a bearded Githyanki with bald of pate and long flowing robes that seem to conceal a lithe figure despite his advanced years. And in fact, as he sits down at one of the available seats, he tosses a dagger up in the air, and it flips end over end, and then at the apex it seems to slow down unnaturally and hang in the air for a second before falling back to the earth, and he catches it and secrets its way back within his robes.
Very nice, very nice. Teles nods to you as you come in. Good morning, Barret Soon. Good to see you, good to see you. Right on time as usual, and very, very impressed.
Meow.
I don't understand how the hour is announced, and yet there's so often late arrivals to these meetings.
Yes, it is a tidbit troubling, I suppose. But well, you never know. It is a somewhat lengthy process for some in the morning to get themselves appropriately, prepared for the day. Ample washing. You can never be too careful, But I do wonder where they are.
So right after you say ample washing, I stumble out of my room. Looks like I'm still in my pajamas. My hair's all messy. It's already in the morning.
Tally is tempted to try to lick you clean.
Oh, please don't.
Are you saying that you stumble into the meeting room, or you stumble out of your quarters, like 6 floors away?
I stumble into the meeting room like I'm running late.
Okay.
And you're still disheveled, just oh, you guys are all here. Well, most of you at least. So except for the last one.
Well, that is fair, and Tele sort of like scoots away as you sort of like go around him. Very well. I'm sure that you were waylaid by something along your way. But that's neither here nor there. Now, where is Selva? Did any of you see her this morning?
Salva walks in right after. So sorry, I forgot his character's name. But,
Tele. Azure.
Azure, yeah. She's a tall half elf. She's wearing kind of just drapey, relaxed clothing. On her arm, you notice branching Lichtenberg scars that kind of are revealed just by her like drapey, almost bohemian kind of garb. You also know she has kind of paint stains all over her hands as well. She has the look of somebody who's kind of trying to look really laid back and like nothing is wrong, but she looks kind of anxious, and you notice her hair is a little bit crazy. Her bangs are in her eyes. She has her hair braided around her head, but it's sort of staticky, and you notice she's kind of dipping her hands in a goblet of water, trying to smooth it down. Sorry, I'm late, everybody. You notice that
It's rude to be late.
Well, if you had held the door open for me, I wouldn't have been so.
I don't want to be late.
My little black cat runs up to you because my little black cat likes you and meows at you.
I nuzzle his nose, and we know each other well. And yeah, I sit down, and she's she's holding kind of an orb that has sort of electrical storminess about it, and she's kind of like nervously turning it over in her hands and kind of clinking it with her nails.
Well, very kind of you to join us, Selva. But I think that accounts for everyone. How are things going, by the way? And he sort of like gestures to the orb.
Getting better.
Good. How long since the
mhm.
last outburst?
Well, when I sneezed this morning, it was a little bit, it kind of sent things around, but you know, it's getting better and better every week.
Excellent, excellent. Very, very good progress. You'll notice that he is seated at the opposite end of the table from Selva's preferred seat. Well, let me not beat around the bush anymore. We do have a rather urgent matter that has been brought to my attention, and he sort of like brings his spectacles down his nose a little further and looks at the paper before him. As you all are well aware, we take proper precautions with our entried books, and so you know that they are kept for holding for a span of time until they can be tested and, of course, properly put through the index. Well, as it just so happens, this morning, a few hours ago, the Vault's Night Watch were found dead.
That's terrible.
Gasp!
It is indeed.
What happened to the books?
Well, as
Wait, no. What happened to the people?
I don't mean to be rude, but the food is getting cold. I've got moon rabbit croquets. I have braised ice cuttlefish, and then I mentioned like several things in Gith that people might not speak, and I'm just going through. It's getting cold, and except for the ice cuttlefish, that's getting hot.
What
You
else
guys
is
should
cold?
be
The
eating.
dead bodies of the people we're supposed to investigate. How'd they die?
Well, they'll still be dead. But the food is getting cold.
Can warm it up.
As you say that, one of the more esoteric sounding pieces of appetizers floats up and into my mouth.
I nod at you.
Show off.
If you spent a few 100,000 years honing your own mind, you could learn to do it too. And then I will repeat I will repeat that by levitating a piece of food into my own mouth.
I'll just send my cat to grab a piece of cuttlefish.
Hey, can
I'll snap and I'll be like, "Go, give me some cuttlefish."
you levitate?
I'll use my
one of those-
hand.
Can you levitate one of those over to me?
Sure. And I do so.
Also, dead people.
Exactly. Back to the
Even the drunk cat cares about dead people.
again. Back to the matter, the serious matter of the book theft. That I presume we are going to have to.
Indeed, indeed. Well, the cause of death is rather curious. It's not a particular thing that I have. Well, I've seen a couple of things like it. Most commonly in the Antioch Desert occasionally, when there's cases of severe dehydration, but there's something very, very odd. The bodies are very, very pale, and there is no sign of injury, but the skin has gone almost alabaster white with remarkable speed, despite there not yet being rigor mortis. So it seems that the kills, the murders, are very fresh. So some of the signs of
I'm not familiar with the sage rigor mortis. What was he
it's
studying?
Yes. My apologies.
Death.
Death. Yes, indeed. You could say that was a topic of death. Yes. But the bodies seem to have expired in a very strange manner that certainly suggests magic at work. Something of the vital energies of the soul itself, perhaps, would be my first hypothesis, but I will be called down there presently to continue my investigations. As for the books, everything seems mostly all right. However, we do have 2 tomes that are indeed missing. Relatively recent additions to the collection. They had not yet been cataloged. However, we do have titles for them recorded. They are, and he sort of filters through his notes. Yes, the 2 books missing are The Dark Hunger and Fallen Tethyamar.
How do you spell that?
Can't spell that.
TE.
It's exactly how it sounds.
Yes, exactly how it sounds.
Could
Dang.
we type it in the
Oh,
D&D
yes, yes.
20 roll chat?
Yep, no, that is precisely what it's there for, and why I should pay attention to these things.
Excited.
And so sorry, where were they found dead?
They were the Night Watch.
Okay. Of Candlekeep?
Of particularly the vault that is responsible for holding newly acquired books for a span of time as they are cataloged and checked for any magical oddities or rot and mold, since we need to take care of those sort of things very quickly to prevent spoilage.
What manner of guards guard the vault? Are they elite guards? Are they mere common thugs with swords?
No, they were, well, and he sort of flips through his notes. Yes, an orphan from Baldur's Gate, and the daughter of a nearby farmer.
Two D&D NPCs. Both
Not
dead.
not a lot of people are going to notice these people have gone missing.
Very
Oh,
true.
no.
They're doomed. Did you type that thing into the thing?
I typed it
Yes.
into the Roll20 chat, since I just
Ah,
realized...
that's why.
I was going to say, I just realized that since
Not to break the fourth wall or anything.
No, absolutely. Since I just realized that that way our audience can see it, since I have this nice little
Oh, lovely.
preview window. But yeah.
Well, goodness, has anyone told their families?
Yes, word is being sent. So that will be taken care of. However,
They must be avenged.
oh, well, I suppose. Well, yes, I guess that's why we have you lot for. Reasonable theory. But first, we need to understand the why. I have already attempted, myself and my colleagues, the other great readers, have done a few divinations, and these divinations indicate that the answer can be found by investigating the books that remain. As I said, there is something magical to these deaths, so I hope that perhaps we can find some answers. At least that's what the divinations seem to imply, is that there will be some answer in what is left. So the vault has been packed up, sealed into containment transports, and you hear this sort of like as there are some squeaky wheels rolling down the hall. Yes, there they are now. They should be delivered into your office next door for you to begin post-haste.
Wonderful.
Wait, you're dumping the entire vault into our office?
Yeah, they've already cleaned up the crime scene and they've delivered it to us CSI style. I
This
suppose.
does not appear to be normal criminal procedure.
I think.
In D&D it is.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
don't even get to see the bodies. The bodies are just gone.
Well, I suppose if you find something germane in the course of your investigations, and it seems pertinent to the bodies, you would of course be welcome to investigate them. I will be doing so from as distant a range as possible, as my magic allows.
To be sure, let's start with what you've brought us. I'm sure the clue, as your divination revealed, will be found within what was left behind.
Very
Yes.
good, very good. Well, I shall be in my office if there are any questions. Well, actually, I suppose I'd best be going down to the morgue in the meantime. Let me go get some disinfectant. And he stands up from the table and goes back through the door from whence he came.
Yeah, D&D hand sanitizer is just brandy, really. I mean,
Indeed.
Additionally, no one taught him prestidigitation.
right?
That is exactly what he was doing when he first arrived in the room. That was his version of prestidigitation. He's an orb caster.
Hand sanitation. Well, I don't know anything about books, so I will leave it to the smarter people to
And
examine the remaining books.
Yeah, I am eager to take a look at the books that, especially if magic has been somehow hidden away within them. I want to secret out those mysteries.
How many books were delivered to us on the squeaky cart?
Well, I have, incidentally, moved you guys over to a new Roll20 page so you can see the layout of the meeting room and your offices next door. All right, so as you step through the third doorway, so one doorway, this one is, can everyone see now? Did I get everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So the door off to the right leads presumably to Teles's office. There is, of course, the door that you came through, and then the door that connects to your communal office, where the carts are these heavy lead carts are being rolled in. They have, sort of like bolted lids on top, and they hum very faintly with some low-grade magical energy. And so 2 carts are brought in. Based on the size of them, you would expect that there's probably a good 150 books in here.
It's a lot of bucks.
Allie curls up in the corner.
I'll probably disappear for like 15 minutes as I get actually ready for the day. Maybe half an hour.
Very
You guys
good.
are the worst.
I will begin pulling out spare bits of tool set from inside my mail and touching a fork that I've been bringing in with me. And then as I hold up the fork, it emits a red light on the floor in front of the cat. And I begin playing with the cat with my laser spoon.
Perfect. I'm here for it.
Soon. Books.
I'm going to look to see if there's any sort of manifest. Like they said that there are 2 books that were missing, so I want to see the list of titles and just look at that to see if there's anything that is different from what is physically on these carts.
Sure. Okay. There is a list accompanying. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
First roll.
First roll. Here we go.
I will assist and give some light guidance.
All right.
In GIF and talking about GIF data archival methods, and you should check X, and I'm being very pushy to the older GIF, but he can have guidance, and I will take the assist action.
Mhm.
So what do those 2 things do for me?
Roll
So
with advantage and add.
Roll with advantage and add a d4.
which I have a macro button for if you wish to turn that on. I should have mentioned that before the stream.
All right. Well,
We're going to have the first roll. We're going to have a good first roll.
Okay.
Pretty
I
good.
will take the 27 there.
All right. And you may
It's
add...
the first roll of the campaign.
Woohoo! And you may add a d4 to that if you feel so inclined. It will expire in 10 minutes, I think, or 1 minute.
Oh, I heard just add +4.
Oh, I see.
I was running higher getting +10s. I'm like,
Yeah, no, it should be a +6 plus 1d4.
Gotcha. Let's see here.
So
26.
It should have been a 26.
Yeah. All right. Still pretty darn dandy. So you are skimming through and comparing against what is in these carts as you unbolt them and open the lids, and they are all neatly stacked within. And it does indeed appear that only those 2 books that were previously mentioned are missing. The Dark Hunger and Fallen Teth Yamar. But you do, you don't find anything particularly missing.
But there's no books on the cards that aren't on the manifest either.
That is
right?
all. That is correct. Yes, it is. It is a
Okay.
good
Or did you
match.
say they hadn't been indexed yet?
Between the two of us and looking through this, based either on titles or skimming or whatever, is there anything we can deduce about the collection as a whole? Like, does it relate to something specific? Is it general collection?
So this is a relatively general collection. These are all books that have been brought as entry fee to Candlekeep, probably within the last 2 months. Give or take. And it's just sort of a gradual process of when a new book comes in, it goes into this vault, and then there are members of the Avowed who take time to check it for curses, or strange, immediately apparent oddities, mold damage, and they also more thoroughly index it in relation to its actual contents. So the only thing that has been done so far for these is compiling a list of their titles, their contents, and whatnot has not been indexed into sort of the broad system.
Gotcha. And this is about 2 months worth of books, or
Yes.
okay, cool.
This library has a very limited acquisition system.
Well, they're
It
very.
seems like there's a significant backlog, and this is probably not anybody's favorite job in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In fact, they probably killed these people just to get us to index the books.
That's our working theory right now.
Good.
Pages of Candlekeep murder.
They're not even getting. There are no bodies. We just need to index these books.
An elaborate deception.
Are any Avowed around, or the people who kind of rolled these books in? Are they still around in this room or nearby?
They don't stick around, but they are there if you have questions upon arrival.
Would I be able to go ahead and just chat with one of those folks who brought the books in and ask them, what do you think is going on? You guys have been around these books. Do you notice anything?
Oh, well, and there's a human male who is wearing sort of the generic purple outfit of the Avowed. I actually don't know too much about them. I'm just, custodial services, honestly. So I don't usually watch the vault. They just asked me to wheel these up, but they're quite heavy.
What if I said, come on, you're the eyes and ears of this place. You had to have heard something.
Oh, well, thank you, miss. I reckon that, it's kind of a big deal. The books that come in, and people are excited to read them. Don't really know what's in them yet. So it's a pretty important job, but a really boring job from what they say. The scribes that are, well, there are some that really like it, but seems like it'd be a bit dull to me. But I was part of the crew that did the cleaning up, and
really?
there really wasn't a lot to clean up.
Cleaning up of the bodies?
Well, of the scene, as it were. There wasn't any blood, and just a stack of books that had been knocked over, and some ink that spilled all about. So that took a lot of scrubbing. That took the better part of an hour, honestly. So that was pretty unpleasant. But
Stunning day. Are you all right? After seeing
well, yeah, it was a little unsettling. They took the bodies out, pretty lickety split once they had sort of come in and done all the magic bits. I don't really reckon I know much about all the finger waggles, but they took the bodies out pretty right quick, and kind of left us to do the cleaning.
Right.
So I didn't have to spend too much time with, with the dearly departed in the room.
Glad to hear that. All
Had
right.
you seen the dearly departed before in your role as honored of Candlekeep?
Not extensively per se. There was Johnson. He was a real nice chap. Grew up in Baldur's Gate, from what I heard. But was just the sweetest fella. Gentle as a bird, really. But didn't really spend a ton of time with him. And Liana, she was a bit cold, elf type. She didn't really want much to do with me. She was very, very pretty, but I was very respectful. Didn't make a fool of myself, but yeah, she wasn't especially nice.
Well, this
Would
guy's
you
adorable.
would you mind sticking around in case we come up with any other questions? There's some food in the other room. You should feel free to help yourself.
Really? Is some snacks for me?
Yes.
Find that the round-eared humans like the bread pudding best. You might start with that, but if you're feeling adventurous, all of it's good.
Right. Okay. I'll try not to take that personal. But thank you very much. And he sort of gives you like a side
calamari.
gives you like a sideways look and heads off into the meeting room, and you see him sort of like looking at the plate and sort of like scratching his head. And picks
It's the one in the little bowl. It's the one in the little bowl.
Right, okay. And he'll take it and oh well, that's actually pretty spectacular. That's mighty tasty.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you mind if I take the rest down to the lads in the break room?
No, absolutely not.
Oh well, thank you. That's very generous of you. Thank you. I'm Robinson, by the way. Let me know if you need anything at all.
Thank you, Robinson.
I can't believe you actually made someone happy with your crazy snacks.
He's clearly a man of taste, and he devotes his time to cleaning up after what I'm sure are some very ungrateful materials. And I kind of wave at the three of you that aren't GIF. He's a very dear man, and I like him.
I guess at this point I'll walk back into the room all clean shaven, looking clean. Actually clean up pretty well.
Mhm.
I'm wearing dark leather armor. Hi, kitty. Dark, almost black armor with some blue highlights. Who knew? Straight black hair, kind of tan skin. So, you guys done yet?
I don't know. I don't really read books. These people are doing some stuff.
In the information that was provided, does it, since these were used to gain entry to Candlekeep, is there like a notation of whom gained entry with which book?
There is indeed. Yes, there is a record, very diligent records of not only the given name, but also a given city of origin, as well as a general description of the people who submit books.
So knowing that, I would be curious as to who brought in the missing books and if they shared any like city of origin or anything like that, and also the most recent book used to gain entry.
Okay. The Dark Hunger was, let's see here. Oh, pardon me. A tiefling by the name of Valor. And she hails from, let's see, she hails from Cormier. And then...
Funny story, Cormier autocorrects to Kermit in iOS.
That makes sense.
Good. And
Green
then
dragon.
He hails from Kermit.
and then Fallen Tefyamar was brought by a dwarf named Gelin, hailing from the Desert Mouth Mountains.
Can I ask a kind of lore question?
Mm-hmm.
With the Githyanki, obviously you guys are really like eons older than all other races, and I know you guys have been on some other plane and whatnot. So what is kind of your attitude toward? It's obviously you seem like a little high and mighty. Like, do they like look down on other races?
They're a pirate. The Gith are split into two different. We're one group of them, the Githyanki. They're very martially focused, like planner pirates who steal everything from everyone and then return back to a plane in which time has no meaning. So
Right.
they have infinite time to pursue their skills and things. So
they're
yes.
jerks.
Would they ever?
They're
Would they
epic
like?
jerks.
Would they ever be like friends with somebody who's not a Githyanki?
It's a different kind of friendship, I
Okay.
would imagine, but we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. We've been working together for some undetermined period of time, and it is a good undetermined period of time so far as I'm concerned.
Great.
I brought snacks.
You know,
He
John
brought enough
Delancey is coming
snacks
back
for
in season
everyone.
2 of
He
Picard.
must
All right. I
a little
mean,
bit.
obviously you're social enough to share snacks. I mean, seems like a
Yeah.
great guy.
They're
Yeah.
basically Q.
Fair.
Without the powers of snapping and things into existence, that's basically what they are.
True. So yeah, you guys
You're
have.
ruled by an immortal Lich Queen. It's fine. We don't like to talk about it.
It's fine.
Ride red dragons for fun. It's cool. It's
Yeah. You probably also would have recognized that I seem a little bit more friendly towards you than Zokar, just because I've been on this plane for so long that like I don't really have that aloofness that he does.
yeah. I'd imagine that I relatively new to Candlekeep as a whole. Like I've probably been here, I would say, less than 6 months. I'm relatively new, and I'm figuring it out. And basically, everything I say is wrong half the time. Like, just wrong. I'm just off.
Tally enjoys your snacks, but ignores your prattling on.
That's why he gets snacks.
I
Good.
love snacks. I compliment your snacks with total authenticity. I make all of my deception checks because I'm not being deceitful.
Oh, I rolled earlier. I wasn't requested to roll, but I rolled. Apparently, I made very tasty snacks today.
Yeah.
They were good today.
Yeah,
You usually do.
absolutely.
All right, we have books to investigate. People who
Indeed.
investigate books.
Yes.
I
We
would
have two lead people.
I would like, incidentally, as you guys are like sifting through these books and trying to understand stuff from the index, and you're all sort of picking up and looking at them and whatnot, I'd like everyone to just roll a d6, please.
6.
If it's related to picking up the books, Tally is not picking up any books.
All right, fair enough.
Gith supremacy.
Oh
I mean,
my.
I'm happy to roll it. I just don't know.
Uh-huh.
Did you roll it in roll 20?
Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
Or do you
So,
roll-
yeah. So,
Okay.
Hannah, you can roll, if you're not familiar, you type /R space and then type 1d6.
Or just D6.
Or d6, yeah.
No.
All right.
I got a 5, by the way, in case it matters. I
Okay.
rolled it in roll 20. Or I rolled it in D20.
No
D&D Beyond.
worries.
God, one of these things.
Too many.
It's okay. All right. So, let's see here. Azure, as you're sort of flipping through, there is an interesting book that catches your eye. It is entitled Beast of Myth, The Wild Call, written by Gornris Breakwater.
Oh boy. What was the name of the book again?
Beast of Myth, The Wild Call.
By Gornris.
By Gornris Breakwater.
Any relation?
So many questions.
It's our
Dude,
sons.
I'm so good at guessing the ridiculous spellings of these things. I got Gornris right.
You'll never guess how Javert Breakwater is spelled.
I don't think he knew.
I think
And then add on autocorrect on top of that.
Right. So that
that's
that catches your eye. Would you wish to elaborate on what is contained within?
Yeah, I'll elaborate on what's it contained. I'm making this up.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
It has to do with a human who had some far back like merman blood, so he can breathe on the water, but he's a human. It's kind of weird. He's a very unique individual. His affinity with animals. He also likes to shoot things with crossbows, and he can't stand flat on the ground. He always has to be like hanging off a tree or walking on a wall. It's really weird, but I don't know. Something about him really appeals to me.
All right. So is it an autobiography or a biography?
It's probably, I don't know. It's probably more fiction than more fiction than fact.
So kind of more of
Based on some of the
a
things.
storybook.
Yeah, but it's possibly inspired by somebody. Is what it's inspired by a true story.
Yep. Gotta love that on the
Maybe
inside
it's embellished
jacket.
a little bit.
It was written by a very well-paid bard.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Pay your bards, folks. Pay your bards.
Don't they get enough exposure? I mean, come on.
Tip your bards.
Selva, you are sort of flipping through, and a tome catches your attention, titled "Journey to the Center of the Underdark" by Victor Jewell.
Actually, typing it out.
And I'm describing what this is about.
Yeah, what's contained within that particular tome? Tell us about that.
It's Victor Jewell is a well-renowned spelunker, and he just talks about different survival tactics for as you journey deeper and deeper into the earth, different sort of ways to rig up your climbing gear and how to get over the claustrophobia as you journey deeper and deeper. And as the book goes on, however, it becomes clear that he lost his mind because it rambles into a complete word salad. And the final pages only having very hasty scrawlings, sometimes nonsensical sentences, and at the end it's nothing but markings.
Oh, good. That is primo, wilderness guide content. I like it. Take a point of inspiration for that.
Any really good tips for surviving the Underdark?
Yeah. Selva, do you find any particularly interesting tips, or shall the DM provide one?
In case we're there,
Yeah.
you never know.
Quick, what's the Underdark? Is that like the underworld?
Yeah, sorry. The Underdark is a massive cave network that extends for literally miles underneath the earth, like all over the world, essentially. It is where Drow, the Dark Elves, are often from. Various other subterranean races hail from there. Mind flayers, creepy nightmare things often also come from the Underdark.
Well, very commonly in the Underdark are these bioluminescent mushrooms, and if you just take one capful of them, you can actually kind of smear the bioluminescent trailings along the wall and mark where you've been.
I like that.
But of course,
Order. I'm pretty sure the mind flayers are only found in the Underdark because we hunted them to extinction everywhere else.
and we were right to do so.
We were absolutely right to
thumped
do
his
so.
chest twice in a kind of martial maneuver.
Good.
The cat in the corner rolls its eyes.
I would love to cook with bioluminescent mushrooms. A mushroom croquette that glows. Fascinating.
Excellent, excellent. I love it. I love it. Well, Tally, though you're not looking through as people are, sort of making their way through the various tomes and whatnot, one gets set on the table there to the center and catches your eye if you feel so inclined. And the title reads Proven Endeavor of Captain Tutu. Does this catch Tally's interest, or is he just like,
Tally's
nah?
not looking at books.
Okay, fair enough. So that
He
is
knocks the book off the table.
Yeah, I literally like slowly push the book off the table and go curl up in the corner and be like, you know what? When there's something to track, you guys tell me we need tracked, but I don't read the books.
I like it. I like it. Very good. All right, and then Zokar, you find an interesting tome as you're sort of flipping through, looking at the list, seeing what catches your eye, and you find Speculative Transcripts of Divinity, compiled by St. Ethel's Hospital et al.
This is horrible. this long prescription of how you should behave and how you'll be rewarded by behaving in such a way as to make you weak, and then something called a saint. Oh, I hate that. The mouthfeel of that word, saint.
Oh,
It's horrible.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you actually crack it open and make this commentary, or is the title enough to disgust you?
No, I'm paging through it and like speed reading, and like I think I found something that's probably like a lawful good divinity like story of how someone ascended, and I'm like everything about this makes no sense to me, and I give verbal commentary as a result.
Very good. I like it. I like it. I'm here for it.
Also, I'm looking here in the index bar soon, and the queen is not in here. So this book is incomplete, and I'll throw it across the room.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Take inspiration.
Are we still going with stackable inspiration?
Indeed, indeed. Call out to viewers, by the way, like I homebrew up the wazoo, so there may be things that you do not recognize. We have an artificer, and he's using some homebrew rules with his invocations. We have a ranger that is my own sort of personal homebrew. So you may not recognize exactly everything that we're doing. So just a little disclaimer there.
Stackable inspirations, as we can have more than one, and I already got one earlier, so I have two now.
Huzzah, huzzah!
They're like Legos, like inspiration Legos.
Yes,
exactly.
They stub the DM's toe and not mine.
Truth. All right, Baratsoon, you are sort of thumbing through, and nothing particularly, beside what's already been mentioned, caught your attention by title. But as you're flipping through, physically looking at like, okay, here's the titles, but what do these books actually look like? Can we draw any parallels? And you notice a smaller book that is very sort of roughshod, and it has this clumsy leather cover. There's nothing on the cover, so that's part of why you flip open, and you see all the pages are kind of mismatched. It's almost like basically the pages were added in like 3 sections, almost as though it was originally relatively skinny, and then it got added to, a third time. And on the inside cover, or on the inside leaflet, it is entitled Mazroth's Mighty Digressions, authored by the same, Mazroth.
All right. So Mazroth is a genius and absolutely insane. I flipped through this book full of arcane alchemical formula, and it's clear that he is on the path to discovering something grand, perhaps the elixir of immortality, or how to turn lead into gold. And he's like figured out how to brew tea with cold water. It's his thesis of grand renown. It's like, what is going on with this man's head? So it's certainly interesting.
Trigger, I'm curious, did you just like read Candlekeep? Because like you didn't list off what the book actually says, but it fits.
I mean, the way you described it and the title and the everything about it seemed to suggest exactly as what I found.
That is
Given that Trigger hadn't picked the spells until this afternoon, I doubt he had time to read the entire book.
not wrong.
Oof.
Not wrong. Have you picked spells yet, by the way?
I did, in fact, do that.
Fair. I should have made a
I
betting.
apologize for assuming that you'd actually picked spells.
But yes, that is very, very perfect, and I absolutely love the embellishments. And as you're reading through it, you hear, "Feed me."
There are snacks in the other room.
I look. Did you hear that too? I assume you did if you answered it. But
Hungry.
Who's hungry? I made snacks.
is this literally something that Zokar can hear? Is
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Surprisingly, the two of you are like looking at each other, you know, having this conversation, and the non-Gith in the room are not reacting.
I didn't say anything. I look pointedly at the book that I'm still holding, as if that's the only other thing in the room that could have made any sound.
You don't. I will draw my greatsword and into a battle stance and go, telepath.
You guys okay over there? You just drew your sword.
Battle.
I look at Azure and Tally and say, "Ugh, they're doing it again."
It's
Yeah, I
just
picked up a
some
little bit
some
of
latent magical energy with this book is manifesting strange disembodied voices. It's nothing to be concerned about.
And
I'm concerned.
as you say that, the book, which is open in front of you, the pages sort of like stretch outward, taking on sort of the shape of hands that come outward, and there is a glow that starts to emanate, and in a that was the worst time for a cough. As there is this sudden flash of light and levitating over your desk, where there is no longer a book, is this swirling orb of faintly sort of silver, blue, yellow energy, this light. And we're going to go ahead and roll initiative. Hi folks, Brendan from a slightly more recent past here. We had some technical difficulties while rolling for initiative, so we've cut that segment in favor of a quick little explanation. D&D Beyond was down intermittently over the course of our session, and also since RJ was experiencing some issues with his internet and was not on video, our battle screen was not behaving properly, and so we opted for a theater of the mind combat approach. So stay tuned next episode when you'll get to see our shiny battle screen functioning as intended. But in the meantime, back to the battle. All right, so Zokar, you start us off as where there had formerly been a book on Baratzun's desk. There is floating above it this maybe like 3-foot diameter orb of silver and yellow and blue.
So I had drawn my greatsword, and what you will notice is that there's a faint hum to it as it draws. This is clearly no simple greatsword. And I take a step forward diagonally here, and then bring my greatsword down through the orb with great force, or at least attempt to. We'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, Oh boy. Okay, so
Nice.
that is a crit. So now our audience gets to see one of my rules of heavy crits, where I maximize the damage dice and then roll the damage dice. So unfortunately, that is not what Roll20 is doing here. So we have to do a little bit of manual math.
It should be 12, right? So it's 2d6.
Yeah.
So I did. It looks like
12 plus 4 is 16 plus 10 more. So 26 total.
yes. So I swing in and come in and with again a slight hum, slice through this thing with reckless Githyanki abandon. A sort of hissing battle cry of and that's what I do.
All right.
Cat get orb snacks.
Excellent,
Yum.
excellent. And as you cleave into it, you hear, now everyone in the room can hear it, but the Gith hear it a little more distinctly, this scream in your minds of, and that brings us to Az.
Not realizing I was supposed to bring a weapon to my study.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still pull out a dagger that I had hidden somewhere on me. Walk up to this thing, kind of jump up on the desk,
Mm-hmm.
and try to sneak attack it. I guess.
All right.
Let's do this.
Can we talk to each other during battle?
Okay.
All of the crits.
Okay. This is great.
Hannah, yes. Generally, you speak on your turn, or engage other people with conversation. Quick. A combat round is 6 seconds, so it's pretty hasty.
Pretty good.
So monologuing is encouraged. Really.
Yes.
Mechanically, this is all kind of happening at the same time with the initiative order determining like the trigger of when things happen in a specific. But it's supposed to be theoretically like the same 6 seconds for everybody.
Yeah. All right. What is the total as?
Sorry, give me a second.
No worries. A crit sneak attack is a doozy.
So it's that plus 14.
Okay.
So 19 altogether.
19. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. And as you stab into it, you are surprised to find that it doesn't recoil quite as painfully as you might have anticipated. It still makes an impact. You feel the squish of your blade impacting and cutting through this sort of ectoplasmic-y, strange, gooey substance. But it doesn't give out the same scream that it did when Zokar brought down his blade.
Then I'll take my bonus action and disengage.
Okay.
I don't want to be next to this thing.
All right, and Hannah, that is a good example of the party narratively learning that this creature has resistance to presumably a non-magical weapon, since Azure's weapon is not magical, but Zokar's is.
Artificers.
And that will bring us to Baratzun.
Cool.
Kill and finish it.
I will attempt to do that.
Get another crit. Come on.
Team, crit squad, all crits.
I will take a step back, and I will point my finger at it and cast Toll of the Dead.
Okay.
It must make a some kind of save.
First, it would like to take its opportunity attack, so it's going to take a swing at you. As this strange sort of undulating orb, a tendril of it sort of lashes out and tries to swipe at you as you provoke opportunity. Does a 16 hit you?
Yes.
Okay. Oof. Oof. 16 necrotic damage. And I need a constitution save.
I can give you that.
Are you dead?
I was gonna
I
say
am definitely unconscious.
he's a wizard. Yes.
Hold on. I have things that I think I can do.
Gotcha. For the audience's reference, these characters are level 2. We're starting off at level 2. So it is still early. 16 damage to a wizard is not career ending, but scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It sounds
think
pretty
only
career ending to me.
Selva.
I probably should have used shield when you said you hit me, but that's fine. I will just fall down.
Oh no, you fell down?
I do succeed on my constitution save.
Yes, very much so. Okay. So yeah, Barat Zun, this tendril lashes out as he steps back, and suddenly his face goes incredibly pale, almost turning like a gray for a Githyanki, and he just keels over, currently unconscious.
Guys, that's what the other things did. They got pale.
Hmm.
And
Also, our friend is down, and I can't do anything about it.
so let's see.
Surely we have a healer in our party, right?
Yeah.
Not that
He's
I
got-
know
He's got
of.
super limited spell slots, but yes.
I mean, a ranger can heal eventually.
All right. Well, that will bring us to this strange creature's turn, and it is going to try and lash with a tendril at Zokar after that massive damage, and get a 17 to hit.
That will in fact hit.
Okay. Uh, 12 points of necrotic damage and a Constitution save, please.
Okie dokie.
You are fine.
All crits.
All crits. It's all crits all the way down. All right.
It's going to be really good for our campaign or really bad. I don't know.
So with that, Zokar also goes relatively pale. Still has some of the yellowish, green, brown coloration to the skin, but it has definitely lost some of the saturation as this siphon of life force is sucked away from him, and the orb sort of gurgles and grows just a tiny bit. It's maybe like 3.5 feet in diameter. And that will end its turn, as it is now Selva's turn.
All right. I'll try Chromatic Orb.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so I'm first gonna roll to see if I hit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that work?
That did function, and you have a 14 as the first roll, and that is a hit on this creature. What energy type are you choosing when you cast this Chromatic Orb?
Can I ask, Baratsun or Zokar, you had a magical weapon that hit it. Is there any kind of like element associated with that?
Mine was non-typed.
Right.
It's non what?
Yeah.
Okay.
No element?
So yeah, I'll chime in. Yeah, no particular element. It was slashing damage from a magical source. You are using definitely a magical source, so you are probably overcoming that. So you're in unfamiliar territory if it might have fire resistance or whatever. That's not a thing that the party has known yet.
That's what I was trying to figure out. All right. Well, I'll pick Okay, so I can click roll damages. Is that going to bring up? Yeah, let me just. Oh, I see. I get to pick. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fire, cold, thunder, lightning, and maybe acid, I think are your 5 choices.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's do this.
Well, whatever it is, it's all right. 17 lightning. All right. And with that, it seems to be fully effective as this crackling ball of lightning bolts across the room and impacts this orb, and you see this this lightning spread out from it. Selva, how is this creature going down?
Yeah.
It's sort of undulates and gets bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller, and then there's a big electrical poof. It's a little bit smoky. It kind of smells like ozone. And also, Salva's on the ground. She fell down. Her hair is a little staticky, and she's kind of like, what the heck?
Oh, did she get like blown back against her desk, essentially? Recoil?
She's still learning a little bit, yeah.
I
When
like
Selva gets blown back against her desk, Tally wakes up from his nap.
it.
Well done, Storm Madam. Well done. Let's help the old man up, and I'll walk over, and I will cast Cure Wounds on him.
All right.
I have 11 hit points back.
I have all of my hit.
Wizards, am I right?
Okay, so if I just click the cast button, it casts it.
Yeah.
And if I click
Yeah.
the select button, it puts the thing in without casting it. Neat.
All right. So, Arthur, you sort of, snap to. Everything's all there. You're okay.
Yeah, I must have dreamt that some strange orb appeared above my desk and knocked me unconscious or something, because I see that everything is as normal.
Dreamt. Exactly. Dreamt. That's what you did, old man.
What the heck was that? You said that said something to you?
Yeah,
That it was hungry.
Hungry.
It seemed to want to eat me. I can distinctly feel that it was consuming me in a most unpleasant fashion.
Doesn't everyone?
Selva blasted it with lightning so strong it knocked her off her feet. She will be a warrior one day.
Pretty impressive.
Even the cat agrees.
I know. I look at Silva sort of lazily because I was asleep through most of this battle, and I'm like, oh, sounds like you did a good job. I'm impressed. Now,
You fell over.
back to sleep.
Did we try talking to this thing before we just sliced it with our magical sword?
Absolutely not.
I must admit some small embarrassment. We spoke of the Underdark and the Mind Flayers earlier. I sensed a psychic attack, and I responded as my training dictated, and I would do it again.
Superb.
Well, a book did attack us. I mean, it's not like talking to a book is not generally the first approach.
Also, should we not slay the other books before they try to commit more murders?
No, wait.
Then I will grab my sword and
pause,
start walking towards the book.
Stop. Meow.
Fire works better than swords.
No.
Good call.
No. God, no. Stop. No.
Awake.
No
He
book
brought up,
burning.
when Tally was awake, he brought up a good point. When people were getting hit, they were turning pale. Is this like some kind of virus or something affecting the different books? And it's gotten into this one or something
It's true.
like that?
I'd like to interrogate our wizard friend about how he felt while he was going down.
Also, can I maybe do like a medicine check to like, I don't know.
That's
turn
more
pale?
like it. Thank you. That's more appropriate. I don't have that, but
Sure.
I do.
Yeah. If you are the one who's proficient in that, that is.
For some reason.
I like it.
Okay, it's not too bad.
Okay. Yeah. Despite the healing, you can definitely see like the signs of kind of sudden system shock. Like his body was suddenly sort of just running on empty. And the healing magic has seemingly restored all of that. He's back in normal function, but sort of like his blood pressure is a little off. And the pupils are a little slow to respond. His system seems to kind of be recovering from a sudden shock. Pun intended.
Got it.
I would like to make an Arcana check to see if I can determine what was powering this creature and if there's any more lurking in the rest of the tomes.
Sure.
I will begin an identify ritual to do the same thing.
I will
Gotcha.
go back to sleep.
I'll begin pulling out tools and muttering to myself and gently like probing the books over the course of I think it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you, so I believe that identify is single target. So are you choosing a particular book, or are you casting on Baratzun?
I'm going to pick from the list the most recent book.
Okay. That would be probably the proven endeavor of Captain Tutu.
Okay, so I'll start probing that off to the side.
Gotcha.
Can I ask, is the identify ritual a cantrip, or is it like something to do with his backstory?
So identify is a first level spell.
Okay.
Then it has the ritual tag, which means that if you prepared it, you can cast it at 10 times the length of the casting.
10 minutes more.
10 minutes more, thank you. To not expend the spell slot. So basically, there's a ritual associated with it. It takes longer, but you don't expend your slots. And I'm already down to 50% of my slots because I have no slots.
That sounds inappropriate.
I'm not a sorcerer. I'm not a powerful storm sorcerer.
You have
The bottom
infinitely
line
more
is you
than
can
I do.
identify something if he sits there for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, is anyone else doing anything in the sort of 10-minute time span where the two Gith are sort of studying the materials before them?
I'll run and go grab my short bow. Run at it. Okay, just in case.
Yep.
Sound asleep.
Somebody should probably investigate the person that brought this book.
I was going to say,
I'll track him down once I'm done napping.
when we destroyed the orb, did it still exist, or did it kind of get destroyed as well?
There is a relatively small puddle of goop on Baratzun's desk.
I'm looking at the goop. I'm poking it.
The goop.
Looking for anything that might tell me something.
Okay.
Smelling it.
Do you have Arcana?
I was gonna say, do you have Arcana proficiency?
No, I'm not good at Arcana.
Okay, then make just a straight up investigation check in that case.
Okay.
Such a great thing for a sorcerer to not know Arcana. I love that.
Yeah.
It feels kind of appropriate.
It makes sense.
I don't know why. I just
They really
can.
just cast out of the strength of their beauty.
Yeah.
That's like her story, though. She was never a sorcerer. She
Mhm.
just became one. So it makes sense.
You sneezed. Lightning comes
Really
out.
quick, though, what is the difference between investigation and perception? Just like very briefly.
Investigation is when you are doing a detailed, sort of thorough search, whereas perception is the things that you notice, sort of immediately.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to roll a d4.
Investigation is also like knowing to look underneath the
bed frame.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, Anthony, did you move your computer around? Because I can't see the top half of your head anymore, and I can't change that while we are streaming.
Whoop. Okay, wait. Sorry.
Better now?
Yes, much better.
I moved it to incorporate my familiar.
Very good, very good. Oh,
Okay, so I rolled a 15 plus 1 for investigation, so 16.
okay, perfect. Very good. So we'll start with Zokar's Identify. Upon the most recent book, The Proven Endeavor of Captain Tutu turns out to be an entirely mundane, at least as far as this spell is able to ascertain, a mundane book with no immediately apparent magical properties.
And I'll sit down, and it's at this point that finally sitting down, the 10 minutes has passed. I got nothing out of what I did. The haggardness of my situation is fully now apparent on my face, and I'll kind of lean my greatsword tip up onto my chest and just kind of catch my breath and nothing. This book isn't even magical.
Oh no.
But meanwhile, Baratzun, looking through the remainder of the books, right, and Arcana in general on what remains, trying to draw parallels.
Yeah, just to see if there's any, like, if this is present in any of the other tomes.
Gotcha. Searching through, and with an Arcana check, you don't see other books that have some of the same stylings to them. Nothing that immediately catches your eye. And as you're sort of thinking on this, you realize that this creature was sort of ectoplasmic, this strange sort of amorphous shape that came out of a book, or seems to have been the book, been some sort of shape changer. So you haven't heard of a creature particularly like that. But just broadly speaking, you're thinking like ethereal things, things like ghosts or stuff that originates maybe from the astral sea, or from the ethereal plane. There's definitely something that is, spirit-esque about this rather than a creature from the prime. So you at least can narrow down something about its origins, or that you are indeed dealing with some sort of creature that hails from another plane.
It's not from around here.
Yeah.
But just to be clear for us dumb observers, there's no book left.
No, there is a pot. There is a
Just
pile.
pile of
There is a small puddle of goop.
That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure.
The book turned into an orb. The orb turned into a puddle of goop.
Which I'm smelling.
By the transitive property, a book turned into goop.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Selva, as you are sort of investigating this and whatnot, it is, very sort of goopy, stringy. It does stay together. It's not like you can pull a piece off. Like it's this one contiguous mass that sort of is stretchy and springy and has this strange sort of almost sulfurous smell to it. And definitely further backs up that idea that like it is not from the prime material. There is something strange about this, and you kind of get the sense that it's because it's one cohesive piece and it stays together, and doesn't have complete malleability. You get the sense that this being a shape changer is probably limited in its shape changer capacity by what still remains. You get the sense that it's not like a doppelganger that can look like literally anyone. It seems like it's limited in its capacities.
Can
It's
I
like Play-Doh.
can I ask a question of my comrades?
Absolutely.
The ones who heard it say it was hungry. What language did it say that in?
I don't. Did we hear it just kind of in our heads, or was it spoken?
The telepathic sort of language, or was it in a specific language?
The former, being creatures that have some experience with telepathy and psionically empowered beings. It did have that vibe of just a universal language, thought to thought. You probably understood it in your native Gith, but you know that that's sort of the transitive property of direct telepathy.
It spoke to us direct in the mind's eye. It spoke the true meaning of what it wanted. And it wanted hunger, and it tried to consume us both. Clearly, it was a being of taste.
Well,
I think actually, Zokar, from the remains, you should make ethereal pancakes. This residue is probably a rare delicacy if prepared correctly.
Food is certainly one option. A shape-shifting blade also has great appeal.
Also, forensic evidence is another option.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Or you craft into something.
When it's done with that, when it's done being forensic evidence, we will repurpose it to the glory of the cock.
So I'd like to see if there's what natural properties this has. Is this shape shifting some kind of creature that I would know about from nature?
I would say just offhand, no check required. You would realize that is not the case. This is
It's an
definite.
arcana creature.
Yeah, definitely. It is a creature, but certainly not a one of the prime material. It is certainly extra
Not
planar.
something I've experienced in the forest.
Correct.
Good.
Replaying the fight in my mighty brain, when it was attacking us and draining us of energy, did it appear to like bioluminesce in a way that suggested it got healthier? Like, was it sucking energy out of us, or was it just taking energy from
Well, it
us
did
and not
get-
interfering with
Got
it?
bigger, right?
It did. Yeah, it did glow and grow slightly larger after it had attacked twice. On the second strike, it definitely seemed to have grown in size.
Okay.
So, going back to the facts, what do we know about the person who gave this book?
It was written by the author. Or sorry, Wolf. It was written by the person who brought it in, I think.
No. Yes, it was
Most
written.
books are written by the author. That's true.
The book was
Not
written
all.
by the author. Good.
Not all books.
Sorry,
No.
it was
That's not just true.
the author's name was in the title, but it wasn't that person who brought it in.
Correct.
Got
The person who brought it in was.
His name was
Whoever brought it in
Robinson?
was clearly a malfeasant person because they gave a trap to the library.
Let's see.
A soul draining, body draining trap. We should find them.
The person,
Your-
the person who brought in this particular tome has not been named yet. That was not something that we got to. They were named Yalarian High Scroll.
To your point, Tally,
Meow.
there's someone clearly giving these books to people for entrance. This is either some sort of coordinated attack or some sort of central point of sale. We know what we had to do to get into Candlekeep, and it's likely there's some purveyor of rare books who's slowly killing his victims.
I feel like you're jumping to a pattern when we only have one data point.
Yeah, or it
Three
could be
data
total cluelessness. But I agree with you that we should probably find this Yalarian High Scroll and interrogate them.
Barat Zun, age is addling this aging is addling your mind. We have 3 data points. 2 people were also killed and found drained.
Yes,
There's
they were. It is. Oh, they could have been drained by the other
This
2 books
book-
that went missing. Is what you're saying?
Right. The books went missing. It fits the pattern, does it not?
I didn't even consider the books that had gone missing. I thought the same book had turned back into a book after it had drained the unfortunate guards.
Was
At
there
the
any
very least,
report
it
of
seems like
such
we should
poop
go-
there or glowing orbs? We should interrogate the people who found the crime scenes for that information. And to Tally's point, we should talk to this person whose name I don't remember.
Yalarian High Scroll.
That's the one.
That
Yes.
sounds like a made-up name that you would
Horror.
give.
I don't know what gender Yalarian is. Would Tally know what gender Yalarian is?
When in doubt, use they them.
I know, but I'm trying to figure out. It is specifically not in a gendered sense, in an investigative sense. But I know what to look for. Is it a species-specific name? Is it a race-specific name? What is Yalarian High Scroll likely to be?
High Scroll is a name that you might expect from someone who at least grew up in a human culture. That is a very
Sounds right.
human-sounding last name, surname. But as for the first name, there's variable.
Also, in the continuing saga of autocorrect, my computer turned it into High Scroll,
Oh, good.
which is not correct.
All right.
I assume that there is some kind of internal tracking system in Candlekeep in the sense that it's a very limited population. So I assume it must be relatively easy to find people.
Mhm.
Okay, so we can find this Yalarian High Scroll and
I screwed.
find out why they gave a trapped, cursed, deadly book that almost murdered our decrepit wizard to the library.
Robinson
I
still-
hope you're not narrating that thought out loud.
Meow.
is Robinson still eating in the other room, or did he leave.
No, he's taking the snacks to the break room.
The guards did such a good job.
So we know who gave Masforth's mighty digression. And I know I asked this question earlier, but my brain is melted. Who brought in the Dark Hunger and Fallen Tethymir?
That was
Uh,
Valor, a tiefling from Cormyr, and Gellin, a dwarf from Desert Mouth Mountains.
I want to visit that place, by the way.
Desert
What? Wait,
Mouth
what place?
Mountains?
Speaking as someone who lives in a desert mouth near a mountain, it's not that great. It's very hot. And it's killing
Hot
you.
is good.
I mean, I don't. My character does.
All right, so it sounds like the party has a couple of people that they're interested in talking to, both at the vault itself as well as the individuals who brought in these books. And I think that is where we will pick up with 2 weeks from now will be when this airs. So stay tuned for that, folks. And thank you so much for coming along. And we really enjoy having you here, and we hope that you've had fun. So come back and give us a follow. Stay tuned, and we'll see where the adventure goes.